Today I am going to clear this one little corner of the potatoes, see what we got going on in here, and make some space because I want to start planting perennial herbs in here. I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. But I thought it would be fun to show you potatoes coming out of the ground if you've never seen them. So I already pulled this one. These are beautiful. These are a small potato. So most of these are actually small potatoes. I didn't plant many big potatoes. So after I pulled it out, I'm just gonna still rummage around and see what else I can find. You can see there's a lot of babies still. So you just reach down. I'm trying not to disturb the soil too much, but I do wanna make sure I get all the potatoes. And so what I'm pulling out right now came from one little seed potato. And I'll do a better job when I don't have the camera in my hand of getting everything. I think the chicken are coming to help. They're gonna be so happy to dig around in here. All right, so there's a bunch. I'll go through a little more thoroughly. Oh my gosh, they still keep coming. Let's see. And I'm going to keep an eye on the weights of the potatoes that come out of this section of the potager garden versus the potatoes that come out of the garden bags and the potatoes that come out of the actual just market rows in the garden. All right, so I probably got most of these. There may be a few more, but that's from one tiny little seed potato. So I'm gonna put these in the basket and I will get these weighed up, excuse me, at some point today, just to see all right, this is just one little corner. Look at this baby potato. Oh my goodness, there's so many. All right, so that was just, one little corner, one seed potato gets you this. Now that to me seems like a pretty good deal. I'll take up space in my garden for that. All right, so let's put one together. What is that? That is not a potato, I don't think. Nope. Okay, so let's see if we can do this together. So here's the plant. This might be one of the bigger ones. I only planted 2 of the bigger potatoes. Let's see. All right, not a whole lot going on in there right now. Let me step over. Start digging around and see what happens. I did harvest some from this already that we were just sort of eating randomly when I felt like I needed a potato. And this came actually just from the eye. Oh, that's from the red one. Next door neighbor. Ooh, there's a nice one. This came just from the eye of a potato skin. So it was a potato skin that I had put in the compost, organic potatoes from Vermont, and it started to sprout. So I pulled it out of the compost and I added it to my potatoes. All right, I'm getting some red potatoes from the neighbor here. So like I said, I harvested about 3 or 4 of these white potatoes already. It's like, I have to have the kids come do this with me. It's like a treasure. It's like you're just digging for treasure. It's a really fun thing to harvest. It's kind of hard to dig these potatoes without disturbing the soil too much. You do gotta go down in there. All right, so I would say imagine 3 or 4 more of those just from the potato skin. Just from a skin, the peel. I probably had made mashed potatoes and the skin started sprouting in the compost. Those are some beans that I had in there. All right, let's do one more. Let's do this one here. So you can see they'll be on the roots here and you can kind of shake them off. But then after you get them off the roots, you still gotta go digging. And you can see there's a lot of babies still on there. So this is just what came off of the roots here. And then you just get your hands in there and see what you can find. a little hard one-handed, but doable. Found a rock. All right, not as many potatoes on that plant. But again, this is the section I had harvested in already. So when I felt like having a potato, this is where I would come to grab potatoes. So kind of makes sense that there's less. All right, I'm gonna do that one and then I'll show you the basket. So as I'm pulling potatoes, I hear this weird sound that sounds like a little, like, "Ow," and it happens twice, and I'm like, what is going on? And that is not a potato, that is a toad. And I don't really like them, but I'm doing this so you guys can see it. I must have just hurt him a little bit. Sorry, little guy. I don't understand how you were covered in dirt, but you were. If you want to go back in there, you can go back in there if you want. Ah, okay. I don't like them. Why don't you go find a new home? Yeah, go find a new home out of my garden. I don't know. I don't know that I can do this. Oh, I wish the kids were here. Or Dave. They like things like this. I don't like things like this. I'm sorry I disturbed you. I can't imagine that you were living in here with my potatoes. That is so weird. Okay. Well, that happened, and I'm a little freaked out. I don't really want to dig for potatoes ever again. Here's what I got. A pretty nice yield from about, I don't know, 3 seed potatoes and a piece of potato skin. So I'll find the name of the red potatoes for you. They're like a French potato, I believe. I'm feeling really happy with that. And then I've got this section right here that I'm going to just put a bunch of things in. I've got this chamomile that I'd like to put in. I've got lemon balm that I'd like to put in. I know that will take over, but I'm willing for it to happen. And I've got a lavender plant that I really want to get put in too. So because the rabbits eat so much food in the potager, I know that I can plant potatoes next year. I know that I can plant zucchini next year. And I think that I can have a lot of herbs in here that they won't touch. They haven't touched the thyme or the rosemary or anything like that. They don't touch the zinnias. They don't touch the poppies. They don't touch the marigolds. So I just think focusing on herbs and then using it for the addition of a few more things. And the potatoes seem to have thrived in here, but these are just so overgrown right now. I'll be able to plan it out a lot better next year. I got stung by a bee last night. It was sleeping. See this little bee right here? These little bees tuck themselves in. That's a beetle, but these little bees tuck themselves in to the flower and they go sleep at night, kind of like just like right in there. It was just like right in there on a kind of dead marigold, and I was deadheading, and then boom, stung. So my final act of love today is going to be planting some dwarf peas where my delicata squash was. And the squash vines all died back, completely died. I brought the squash inside. Down there I've got some space too where my yellow summer squash was that never did anything. I think I got 2 yellow squash out of 3 plants. That was very disappointing. Those I direct sowed, and all my other squash plants I actually started from seed. This garden is filled with dragonflies. I have to figure out why. Like, what are they here for? What are they doing? What are they eating? What do they like about the garden? I'm so curious. So I'm not going to do a whole lot to this right now. I've got some fertilizer. I will do that. And I'll come back in and put some compost on, and I will put, I'm going to put just some really thin, fine grass clippings down as mulch. I've still got a little of this straw that's kind of, old straw. I should put the compost down first, but I'm not going to because it's buried under the grass. Dave didn't realize when he put the grass down that I still had compost there. So these are dwarf peas. I don't know if they'll need much of a trellising at all, and I'm just sort of gonna get them in here pretty close together and see what happens. Like I've never done a dwarf before, so ooh, look at that. They were growing some serious roots. All right, they were definitely ready to be planted. I'm glad this is my act of love for the day. My final act of love. There's been a lot of acts of love. All right, so I'm gonna get these guys in and then I'll show you. In the spring, I was feeling kind of done with peas. We were eating so many peas and snap peas, that is. And I needed to plant more shelling peas, but which these are. But now I am craving snap peas like crazy because we've been eating so many green beans that I'm just like, oh, give me a snap pea. Give me a snap pea, something fresh and sweet and delicious. I probably shouldn't put the straw on since I want to put some compost on, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I can always move it. Just like a little protection on things that just got planted. And you know what? I may not come back and put the compost on. And if I don't, I'll be happy that I sprinkled a little bit of straw. It really helps keep the weeds down and it locks in moisture. You don't have to worry so much about watering when you put the straw down. It has really been amazing, but we haven't really had a moisture problem because we've had so much rain, hence all the weeds. I was weeding and weeding and weeding and weeding, and finally I was like, look, I gotta preserve this food. Look how big this one is compared to the others. I'm wondering if maybe this was a different seed that got lost in the packet. I don't know. We'll see. So I'm imagining these are going to need some trellising even though they're dwarf. And then we'll have some more peas, which will be exciting. Oh boy. No, honey. No, it's okay. It's okay. I'm gonna move the plant. I'm gonna move the plant. I'm gonna have to baby proof the house, aren't I? I'm gonna have to baby proof the house from you. Bunny really wants her toy. It's this little mouse that squeaks, but he really wants it. Bunny really loves toys, but she ruins them all, so she can't really have many toys, unfortunately. Her newest toy is a glass lens cleaner cloth. We call it her baby. She carries it around everywhere, and she actually hasn't destroyed it too badly compared to everything else she's destroyed. What's that little kitty doing? What's that little kitty doing? What do you think, Delilah? You're gonna protect her. You're so sweet to protect her. You're doing such a good job. Where are you going? You gonna eat your tail? That's cute. They don't
bite.
It bit me.
This is the little frizzle. Look,
That one.
look, that's the little frizzle.
This one bit me.
They don't bite.
Why
I was probably just thinking you were food. Just scoop it up.
I was going to pick this one up and it
Little
bit me.
frizzle. We're naming the frizzle Frizzle, because what else could you do? Oh my god. You're the cutest little thing I ever saw. My camera's not working well. Hi, little cutie cuties.
They're ugly.
Not ugly. Cutest things I ever saw. Yeah, it is. The tiniest thing I ever saw. You want to go with your friends. You want to go back with your friends. I don't blame you. All right, so this is where the section of potatoes that I took out was. I think I ended up taking out a few more once the toad moved. So I've got my lemon balm, I've got some spring onion, I've got some rosemary, which I will dig up and bring inside. Those rosemary didn't do well because I hadn't planted them in the garden early enough, but I think they'll be fine. Some borage, some chamomile, and some lavender. Now, this is probably not a far enough spacing from the lavender to the lemon balm because these will both come back. So I'm probably gonna have to chop the lemon balm in half and encourage it to grow this way, and then let the lavender kind of take over that section there. I've been trying to weed out the old plants, but you can see things are very, very overgrown. And then the other thing that I have to do, like ASAP, because the chicks are 3 weeks and in 4 weeks they can come out to the coop, is we've got to clean out this coop that we got for free and then build some sort of run that extends from their coop, like a little tunnel, to the big run that is on the other chicken coop. And yeah, and we had a rooster, so we had to bring her back. This was from the woman that we bought the like 12-week-old chicks from. And so we got a new Spitzy. That's our Spitzhauben that was not the rooster. And then the new one is under there just being completely bullied by all of the chicks. I don't know if we're gonna see her. I don't know if I can get her. She's under there. I don't think I'm gonna, oh, there she is. So you can see she's much tinier. But she's holding her own. She's doing okay. I snuck her in at night because they say if you sneak them in at night, they'll kind of wake up in the morning and be like, all right, whatever. They definitely are not like whatever. Well, the pack leader is not like whatever, but she's a really sweet bird. She's doing really well and she's very pretty. So now we have 2 female Spitzhaubens rather than a female and a rooster. And the dogs are doing great with the chicken. They love them so much. Don't go too far over there, please. This way. This way. Girls, this way. This way, thank you. Thank you, but they're very protective. Delilah loves to come out and do my chores with me. They're very protective over the new babies and the chicken, so that's great. All right, so that's like, you know, videos spanning over a couple of weeks, and I will get that garden tour as soon as we finish pulling all the weeds. It's been about 4 days of pulling weeds, but it's almost done. So this video lapses over like 3 weeks because it's been a little crazy with new kittens and new chicks, and let me get out of the sun here, and a kid going to college. So it's like little bits and pieces. It was supposed to be a potato video, and then we got Penny, poppy seed, and we got the chicks, and we ended up having a rooster and we had to trade her out. It's just been crazy. So this is like little bits and bits and bits and bits, but I wanted to show you, kind of wrap it all up, show you the space where the potatoes were in the potager garden, and we are cleaning up the garden so I can do a big end of August garden tour, which I'm going to film tomorrow. All right, well, thanks for being here. Appreciate you.